set to enter the world-famous octagon once again.
Chad Mendes was an extremely accomplished wrestler before he started his MMA career. He's got great quickness, lightning-fast takedowns, and he's been working with Team Alpha Male in Sacramento to improve his striking game.
And so what's really cool about the entrance, with our roster of over 150 fighters, you'll be able to hear information about these fighters via Joe Rogan, much like you would in a normal broadcast. So for guys that you maybe aren't as familiar with, or in your career that you end up fighting, you get to hint, hear what they're good at, what they're bad at, what you should be careful of, and what you should look out for. But it's also a great way to kind of highlight, what these guys are all about.
As a fighter can get, Mike.
So Wes and I are going to jump in.
Brought to you by Zenergy, powered by Zions, the official energy drink of the UFC. And now with the official introductions, the veteran voice of the Octagon, here is Bruce Buffer.
And now, but this man is a wrestler. And now, and when the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Josh.
New referees this year, Josh Rosenthal, Kevin Mulhall. You can see the visual fidelity of our models. That's something the Undisputed franchise has always been known for. We actually are taking pictures of these guys with like 50 meg shots, wrapping these textures around the 3D mesh. Every tattoo, every mole, every scar makes its way into the game.
Hi again, everybody. Mike Goldberg alongside Joe Rogan.
There's a physics joke here, but I use it way too much. So,
Chad Mendes, Jose Aldo.
So first thing you're going to notice as soon as I start, and many of you probably experience this, we have what we call our tutorial hint system. Who here actually plays a tutorial in a game? You are in fact liars. I don't believe you. So we recognize that we have a very nuanced, technical game here, and so what we wanted to introduce is a way to kind of teach you how to play the game within the game, as opposed to coming out of the action and going to a tutorial. So here you can see immediately you get a tutorial. Anytime you're in a new position, it tells you what to do. For example, if Wes jumps into the clinch here,
close the distance.
you're going to get clinch transitions here, and at any time you can turn these off in the options menu. If you accept, go into options, turn off tutorial hints. You'll be able to turn these off, and then if you start a new fight, it'll refresh, and you can turn them back on if there's a position that you're unfamiliar with. And at any time as well, you can go to the grappling options. So for example, both Wes and I are on the pro controls. He's going to switch me to amateur, so if you're playing with your buddy at home, and they're not doing too well, switch to amateur at any time, and then try that out. So for example, Wes is going to take me down.
Nice double leg.
He's going to pass to mount.
Transition
Posture up to mount up. This is the worst position for me to be in the game. Typically last year I had to say, well, you would go from 11 o'clock to 3 or maybe 12 to 9, but 4 to 7 works as well. And now I can be in the amateur controls. I flick down one more time, and just like that I got out of the worst position in the game. Not to say we dumb down the controls. You have way more advantage using the pro controls at a high level. You have less of a chance to be reversed. Here Wes pulls me into a seated cage position. That's one of our new positions. And here you can see how he's feinting his transitions. When you use the amateur control, once you flick down, the animation is already playing, and you have that window of opportunity to reverse your opponent. Here Wes is actually not completing a transition, so at a high level, if I'm trying to reverse him, I'm not actually going to be able to reverse him here until he completes the transition via the pro control. So here I'm trying to reverse. His window's a lot smaller, less opportunity to get the advantage on his end.
Side control.
This is a good opportunity to show off our new submission system. The attacker is the guy who's on the outside. The defender is the bar on the inside. The attacker is trying to cover the bar of his opponent. And think of it like filling buckets. The longer your bar is on top of your opponent's bar, you're actually filling your bucket with points. So here, Wes is on top of me. I'm trying to run away via the right stick on P2. And you can see the little seesaw happening in the bottom. And you'll also notice the attacker's bar is shrinking as the game goes on. Your fighter's state and status depends on your submission offense, your submission defense. So for example, if Wes gets into mount and rocks me here, or not, you're basically trying to catch your guy, and once the submission attacker is on top of you, there's a little bit of lag that you get with your defense. So here, I'll actually get into mount and rock Wes. If I rock him, and now I click in on the submission. My bar is going to be bigger, i.e. more surface area with which to cover my opponent and complete a submission. So again, it's something that you should try with different fighters that you know are good at submissions versus fighters that don't have good submissions. Different positions, different submissions will have different size bars with which you can play with. 10 seconds left. That'll give us an opportunity to go into the next round.
Mostly centered around the ground game.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting matchup on the ground, Mike. Both these guys are highly skilled, and both are looking to finish.
Again, hundreds of hours of recording went into, basically we've had 5 years worth of recording with Joe, Rogan, and Mike that all get put into the game. Here what you see is our interval advice system. That previous system, the tutorial hints, was teaching you how to play the game overall. This is actually teaching you how to play the fight, giving you positive and negative feedback about what you're doing in the fight. You're getting controller inputs in the detail section when you hit B, telling you, hey, when you're in this position, try using this controller. Much like a real trainer is going to do in the corner of a fighter, we introduce this interval corner system to basically train you what you should be doing in your current fight.
Let's go to the replay.
So again, that educational aspect is a really big part of this year's game, teaching you what to do in the specific situation, whether it's in the fight, in a menu, in a mode. We really want to make sure that people understand why they're doing, what they're doing, where they're doing it.
Ready?
So even though we keep talking about all this accessibility for new users, we've still not alienated our hardcore Undisputed guys. There's a lot of technical elements in the game. For example, here, Wes is showing off quick strikes. Those are achieved by just pressing the face buttons and not pushing forward on the right stick. If Wes pushes forward on the right stick with the face button, he's going to be doing hooks and crosses. You can see here I can still sway using the right trigger and the flicking on the left stick. You can do that on the ground too. If Wes takes me down, for example, and gets into half guard, I can sway on the ground, and I can block. This is really important when you play, especially at a high level. Swaying on the ground or blocking is going to open up your transition window. So once you're being attacked like that, or you're being rocked, you want to make sure you block your head and sway, and it's going to open up your transition window for getting out of that bad situation. So now if Wes is doing those quick strong strikes, I can actually use the quick strikes to interrupt his strong strikes this year. So you can see he's trying to do the crosses and the hooks, and I just keep throwing punches down the middle. That's interrupting the trajectory of his strong strikes, and much like in boxing, I can use the jab to then set up a better attack.
All that effort and energy into a punch.
One of the other things that we've added this year as well, we have leg kick TKOs. So if I flick down on the right stick, this would actually be a good opportunity to show our new fighter HUD. We've added a sort of paper doll effect so that you can see which body parts are taking which damage, so you understand, okay, I've got head damage here. If I flick down on the right stick, I'm actually checking his leg kick. That's actually doing damage to his leg. So there was a fight with Corey Hill where he actually kicked the guy checked his leg, and then he broke his own leg as a result of that fight. What Wes is showing off here is actually our feint system as well. So you can see here, if I hold RB, RT, I can fake a leg kick, I can fake a punch. The AI is going to definitely use these on you, whether it's in standing or in transitions. So just something to play with. And that's very important when Wes is going for that leg kick continually. I put my hands down, he goes high. So it's another higher level way of playing.
That's a heavy spinning back fist. That did a ton of damage.
I'm going to try and end this real quick here.
But he ate a left hand.
Nice.
Big head kick.
See, we're both taking a lot of head damage. My front leg's kind of weak. I'm going to try and stay out of his range to make sure that, oh, well, that didn't go very well for me.
He's down. Boom.
Sure. Thank you for embarrassing me. He is, in fact, the senior designer, so if he didn't win, that would be embarrassing for him.
He defends the UFC featherweight title.
So again, I mean, obviously, Wes and I are going to be around making sure, watching you guys play. If there's any specific questions you guys have on specific dynamics, please just grab one of us. We can definitely talk more about the nuance. And later on this afternoon, we'll get into more high-level kind of fighting. So we'll jump